Oh, didn't realise. Welcome to Mailbag, the podcast that's almost as much fun as Watford post-match. I am joined by two of the protagonists from that very post-match, Matt Jones and Ed McCosh. We're due to be joined by Matt Fluss, but he couldn't make it, fortunately. So it's just Matt and Ed, but I'm sure we've got enough to talk about. How are things, fellas, after that very divisive post-match, I think? I loved it.
I don't think it was divisive amongst ourselves, but, you know, we had one person, I think, messages on Twitter who wasn't happy, but yeah. I mean, Ed took the Blue into places it's not been before with his Greek mythology analysis and all that sort of thing. I mean, that's a different dynamic for us.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I had real fun reflecting on the match, and it really helped to get past the initial frustration, anger, misery, and all of that. And to be honest, when we were sent a couple of angry tweets saying that we weren't miserable and angry enough, I thought, this has made my day. I was delighted.
Happier, yeah.
It was even better. I think if you can't have a good laugh, especially when you're in the company of friends, then maybe football's not for you.
I also think there's something very comforting about just slagging Everton off. It feels right, doesn't it? Moaning about Everton feels right for some reason.
Yeah. I think like the whole point of the instant match reaction is to capture the mood straight after the game when people's emotions are very much at the surface, aren't they? And sometimes that can manifest as being really pissed off when you've drawn 1-1 and played all right and, you know, spend a couple of chances. And sometimes when you've been levered, you can just laugh at it, you know, and, you know, I think maybe if it'd been like a better side or something, you might have been a bit more angry because, you know, you're close to a really big win against a good team. But because it's, you know, Watford and because it's Josh King, it's one of them where you go, you know, what are you meant to do? Like, genuinely, but, you know, we had a lot of nice comments as well. We should say that. So cheers to everybody who got in touch with the positive words.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a game of opinions, isn't it? Before we get on to the hot topics and that, there's some breaking news today that fans of Everton, and this leads us on quite nicely to this, fans of Everton, Sheffield United and Newcastle swear more than any other Premier League fans. Best bit is that Everton fans say shite 79% more than the league average. Ed, I'll come to you. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, this is timeline-worthy stuff, this, isn't it?
I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. What's great is I think every single person listening to this will hear that statistic and go, oh, I bet I'm responsible for half of that. we would all take some credit, I think, for the amount of shite shouts that go out. And, you know, to every Everton player, I'd say, you know, sorry, but also it comes with the territory. You play for the Blues, people are going to shout shite at you for 90 minutes.
I saw someone before, forgive me, I can't remember who it was, break down like all the points people say shite in the match. So like it's like 2:58 p.m. Come on, Everton, these are shite. 3:05, Tom Davis, you're shite. After the game, how did the red shite get on? You know, all these points in the game, like where people would say the word. But since that came out, like, and it only came out today, didn't it? That but like me and my missus have been on like a long drive, and I was telling her about it, and like I sort of realised myself like how often like I just say some like things are shite. Like there's like a song on the radio, it's like, this is shite, and turn it off. It's like, oh my God, I can see exactly why. You know, it's just implanted into my lexicon now. It's very close to the surface about any single thing I say, and that's entirely Everton's fault.
It's a word for every occasion, isn't it?
Yeah. I
say it an alarmingly frequent amount of times. Everything's shite. It's all shite.
I said it. There's that great tweet, wasn't there, from Adam Leventhal after the game last week?
Oh, yeah.
The Watford journalist, he said that a fan leant over the press box to the Everton journalist and said, I hope you know how to spell shite, lads.
Was that to Adam Jones?
Well, he sort of, when we asked him about it on Subs Weekly, and he was a bit like, not sure, you know, I don't know if it was directed at anyone in particular, but just amazing. You know, that is why we are a great set of, you know, not great in the traditional sense, set of fans, but, you know, we can laugh at ourselves just as well as anyone else.
If you want gallows humour, support the Toffees. What it's all about.
Absolutely.
As we have to do every week, we are on to the raphograph. So this week, North is being 2-5 against Watford. 1-3, it's been 0-1 against West Ham. 4-6, 2-2 Leeds. 7-9, 3-1 Burnley, and there's no 10 this week. So where do you reckon you are on that, Matt?
I think I'm 0 at the moment because I think for a week at least, they all need to be. Everyone at the football club is on 0 on this graph. You know, I'm sure after Wolves it'll reset again, but for now, I'm in a mood with them all. They can all do one.
It'll be minus points after Wolves. Ed?
I'm at Watford have just scored their equaliser and it's 2-2. I feel like we're on the precipice, and it could all turn into a big mudslide of our favourite word, shite. Especially with 2 aways coming up, neither of which are ones that we've done particularly well at any stage in recorded human history. Actually, we used to be quite good at City, didn't we? But Wolves are, for some reason, a club that we have bizarre form against. I want them to reset, and maybe a couple of away games is for the best. They can go on the road and just focus on playing the sort of football we've been playing anyway, which isn't possession heavy and is more about absorbing pressure and exposing weakness. And I think I understand that after the game, Benitez said that Gray was feeling a bit under the weather, which would have impacted on his game. So I feel like he's going to be pivotal when we're playing a team like Wolves. If he can make Connor Cody look like the lumbering dinosaur he truly is, then I'd be delighted.
Oh God, and I love the way, Les, that Ed said there that he's feeling about where we were at 2-2 against Watford, because that was the briefest moment in time ever, wasn't it? You know, how long was that an existing moment for? About 30 seconds or something like that?
Didn't it? Absolutely ridiculous.
I've only just sort of realised that today, because I'm speaking to Lindsay Hooper tomorrow for the weekend preview, and I was doing a bit of having a look at Wolves before, and I didn't realise how good they've been recently. Like they've won they've won 3 of the last 4 and drawn the other one in the Premier League. And the only reason they didn't get a win last time is because Leeds scored was it 93rd minute penalty? And
dead late. Yeah,
were quite fortunate by all accounts. You know, they came back against Villa and had that storming win. And I thought they'd just been a bit, to use that favorite word again, a bit shite. And a bit up and down all season. But looking at the form and some of the plays they've got, and I think the version of Adama Traore I think we saw against Villa when they came back versus this version of Luca Dean. I mean, that is an utterly terrifying prospect, if I'm being honest. So all of a sudden, like the dreads just sort of washed over me again over the last few days. It's like, oh God, we can't just wallow in this Watford thing and laugh at how bad we are. We've got another football match to play. And we need to get something out of it.
It's the real tragedy of Everton, isn't it? They just continue to play football matches.
Yeah. It's the last thing anyone wants, isn't it? At least it's Monday, so it can't ruin the weekend.
Yeah, and I think the best part as well is when we get to the end of the season, we'll be fuming because it's 2 months without Everton. There's no winning with this lot. I just hope we've learned some lessons. I'm very keen on us, changing up the formation, maybe avoiding what I've decided to call the Jonathan Creek midfield, Alan Davies. That's one for 90s VHS fans there, isn't it?
Oh, God.
And just... I was kind of on board with Gordon going off because he's not the sort of player who's done 90 minutes very often, and Richarlison added a new dimension. But I got to thinking, and actually, we don't know if he can last 90 minutes until we let him try. We keep taking him off on the hour mark or bring him on as a sub.
Well, that's it.
So, give him the game.
He wasn't like a Gerard De La Feu levels of being knackered, was he?
No.
So if De La Feu did 60 minutes, very rare, but if he did, you'd know about it because he would be on his arse. Anthony Gordon didn't look fatigued particularly.
He just looked like a tiny bit. There's just a couple of moments before he got off, which is like, I don't know if that's because he's tired. He's just quite raw. So he's made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah.
I like it. Obviously, maybe he's sort of relayed back that he's feeling a bit. But I mean, we said it on shows. Anthony Gordon can't do 90 minutes. Big Sal up front. God,
he can do 90 minutes because he doesn't actually move.
Just
stands there for an hour and a half, basically. So,
dear me. Yeah. But yeah, some good serious football chat there. I enjoyed it.
I like to do that from time to time. I did the weekly, so it's it's on my mind now. I want some serious chat. But we'll go into hot topics anyway.
Did he say about Mina today? I've not seen the press. Did he give any sort of indication?
I don't know.
Because when I was scrolling through, like usually, like they ask straight up, don't they? Are there any injuries?
Because he's meant to be out, isn't he?
Yeah, like Phil Kirkbride said in the Echo, he's going to be out, but
yeah, minor hamstring injury, isn't it? So
always is.
Shite.
Hot topics. I haven't thought of any. Just any Everton player. I'll do. Tell you what, a really shite Everton player for this one.
All right.
Oh wow, not many to choose from.
If you know, just basically play it out anything. So if you know the story this is from, your favourite EFC manager?
Solomon Rondon.
Hey! I don't want to write him off early, but he's shite.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan, Matt. What story is this from?
No, that's a bit harsh. I'll go Klaus Thompson.
Klaus Thompson. God, he was bad.
There we go. Yeah.
The story this is from?
Obviously, Walter.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The sad news this week. And yeah, it's been lovely hearing so many nice things said about him. My favourite Everton manager, for that brief moment in time, it was Roberto Martinez, wasn't it? No, it had to be. And he even, we had that great season, and it was wonderful, and like everything just came together for us, didn't it? And even then, we still didn't really achieve anything.
we were still a bit shite at the end.
But even in that season, people went to a game towards the end of it hoping we lost a football match to stop our rivals winning the title, and that's like our best season of the Premier League era. But yeah, just that first season, like when you think back, you just think, how stupid was I? And like there were things he said which were a bit mad, but because we were doing well, and because he spoke with an accent, and because he wore lovely shoes, you believed him, didn't? Like I remember there's a game before we played. It was before the Oviedo game, and he said that the result doesn't matter. It's how we play. And at the time, we're like, oh yeah, this fella's absolutely right, isn't he? It is about the performance. It's not about the result. This is exactly what we want. We want to build, and obviously that was there's credence added to that because we went there and won ultimately, didn't we? And then I think a few days later we went to Arsenal and played really well again, but drew against them.
Yeah.
So that season, he said everything and anything. He's just like, oh yeah, this fella knows. He's spot on. And I sort of even admire him in the second two seasons, that even though all the things he was saying by that point we knew weren't right and were screaming in his face, he still stuck to his guns, bless him. And he still believed, and he still thought we could play like Barcelona, and he still thought Aruna Kone was magnificent and Antonin Alcaraz was the answer at centre back. He just stuck to his guns. So that was definitely my favourite season of watching us. So I'll probably go with Bobby, who could be Bobby Barcelona, couldn't he, in a few days?
Amazing. That first season as well, he had a strong coat game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any coincidence that it went downhill, did it? He had lovely, luscious hair as well at that point, didn't he? And
didn't he?
Obviously, it all went, yeah.
Yeah. Once Evans touched you. Ed?
This is a tough one for me because when obviously the news broke about Walter Smith this week, I was thinking how much to actually recall of his time in charge, and I'm on the younger side, and as opposed to you fellas, I'm sorry about that.
Don't put me in the same bracket as Les. Come on.
I'd sneak that one in there.
I'm old enough to be like Matt's dodgy uncle.
You didn't even need to include dodgy, but you just threw it straight in there. Respect that.
I met Matt's uncle Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. God.
I very much started watching football at the very, very end of Smith's reign. So I've obviously lived through the entirety of Moyes and then the cavalcade of bollocks that followed him. But actually, I was thinking about it. My favourite for me is Joe Royle. And obviously it should be Howard Kendall because he's Howard Kendall. He did so much for us, and But Joe Royle was a great player who, became a very good manager in his own right, and he took a real poison chalice at Everton. And it was a stupid thing to do, really. Like we were in a downward spiral. Mike Walker had turned from one of the hottest properties in English football to a quivering wreck of an imbecile. And And Royal came in, and it's, first thing on the docket is play a derby at Anfield, and it's just that everything was against him, and the fact that he turned us into a cup-winning team, and a team that, again, for a season or so, because it's Everton and all glorious fleeting, he turned us into a good team. We finished 8th, was it, in
season after? Yeah,
96.
I think it was 7th, weren't we? Yeah,
it was 7th. Yeah, hang on.
I think it was 6th. Europe, didn't we? Yeah,
it was 6th, and any other season we would have gotten to Europe. So we got into Europe after we won the FA Cup, obviously.
Oh, that was it. Yeah,
that season we got knocked out by Feyenoord, didn't we? We drew 0-0 at home, got beat 1-0 away. I think Reggie Blinker scored. But the big thing for us was Andrei Kanchelskis couldn't play because we hadn't signed him in time because there was all that messing. That season, I think we finished 6th because Tottenham and Wimbledon fielded weakened sides in the Intertoto Cup. So we got another European ban we didn't really deserve.
And that's one for another mailbag.
What's your favourite European ban?
I think, I'd go with Joe Royal, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for actually, quite a special little period in what was a shocking decade.
And
I respect him a lot for that. So I'm going to go with Joe.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, lads, Ed's absolutely right. He's before my time going the match, but in terms of you hear people speak about Everton and the football club and what it means to them, and we hear so many people now, and this has been a topic this week, hasn't it, with Jose Baxter coming back to the club and getting former players in, and there's that topic all the time of people who get Everton, and we need to get people in who get the club, and it's bollocks, really, isn't it? I always say this, what is there to get about Everton, really? You'd probably rather have people working for us who don't get Everton because, they'd be better off. They're not infected by this, but he is someone who does get it. And it's not in like an overly sentimental way or, talking things up or coming out with all these crazy quotes. It's just the passion in his voice and the way he articulates himself. You can just tell that fella absolutely bleeds blue. For what he's done as a player and what he's done as a manager, he's the greatest living Evertonian, isn't he? Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone could disagree with that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. He's an Evertonian from the city, first and foremost. He played for the club and was a legend in that regard, won the title with us in 70. And then he became a legend as a manager. Big regret, we never got him sooner, because I think once he'd taken Oldham to that FA Cup semi-final, I think he'd probably done everything with them that he was going to do at that point. I can't remember how the timeline worked with Howard Kendall, but he should have come in before Mike Walker. That's absolutely definite and beyond any doubt. And the way he left as well was just ridiculous. We were talking yesterday on the weekly that Walter Smith was basically should be remembered as the manager who ran Peter Johnson out of town. That should be his legacy at Everton, if nothing else. Joe Royal, it's a shame it wasn't him that did it, really, because they had that really stupid falling out where neither of them really spoke to each other about it, and he just kind of left. And, everything went downhill and unraveled pretty quickly after that, to the point where 97, 98, probably one of the worst seasons we've had.
Do you talk about Walker, Les? Like at the time, were people saying that, or were people excited about this fella coming in?
Yeah, Mike Walker.
Tell us the story, Uncle Les.
No, at the time, Mike Walker, obviously, his big thing was he finished 3rd with Norwich, which was an amazing feat. He then went on to beat Bayern Munich in Munich. I think the first English club to ever do that. And he had a really good team. He had built a really good team, and I don't think there were any complaints from anyone when he got made manager, because he was, as Ed said, he was the hottest managerial property in the country. I think it was a case of just the fact that he was a very good manager at Norwich and everything fell into place for him there. Take him out of that. He made some good signings. He signed Joe Parkinson, he signed Anders Limpar, he signed Duncan Ferguson, I think. He did. He signed Duncan Ferguson, got him on loan. So we did make a lot of signings that were key to Joe Royal's team. You just couldn't do anything with them. And Neville Southall absolutely hated them, which probably didn't help. But yeah, he was a good manager. There was no complaints at the time, but really, Joe Royal should have got it before him, 100%.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh, he's great. Love him. My dad hero as a kid as well, as a player. Next one. Shite Everton plays at the ready. What needs a museum?
Alex Nyarko. He doesn't need a museum.
God.
I'm just saying Alex Nyarko.
Was he shite? He was all right for a bit.
His goal was good at Tottenham.
He was all right until that fella,
Collared him a hybrid.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's not so much he was shite as he unravelled mentally, but we've all been there, so
Yeah,
I've got some sympathy for him. Yeah, there was some cracking news, wasn't there, from the budget this week where, oh, thank you, our Tory paymasters. They're giving us £2 million to do some planning for a Beatles-themed museum. And Rishi Sunak came out afterwards and said, oh, yeah, Liverpool, you've got Nadine Dorries to thank for this.
Just another thing to thank Nadine Dorries for, really, isn't it?
I think the only thing I could thank Nadine Dorries for is the heart attack that will ultimately kill Nadine Dorries.
God.
But
God, it's gone full Keith there, hasn't it?
Oh, I love it. Keep it going.
I watched Frankie Wall's New World Order last night, and I think it was fine.
I need to watch that.
Oh, it's absolutely outstanding.
That is the story. Sorry, and quickly, it's based on a question from Bramley Toffee Apple, who suggested the Brookside Museum, which I thought was a terrific shout.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Ed, go on then. What do you reckon?
I've been struggling with this. I asked my fiance Sharon, and she immediately said Kit Kats, which I thought what a left field choice, but it's a great idea because there's loads of the suckers. Like in Japan, they've got all sorts of mad flavors, so I reckon that'd be quite fun.
Wasabi Kit Kats are nice.
Kit Kats, yeah. But I was thinking, it'd be great to have an art museum of pictures of just like really cool shaped clouds. Just clouds in cool shapes. Like anyone could get these pictures. You know, when you see a cloud and you're like, yeah, look at that. Looks like some fella heading the football. That's brilliant. And you just stand there and just admire this cloud. I think it would be the most zen experience if people went into this museum and just enjoyed the visage of all these clouds.
Into that.
I'm all for it.
Sounds playing in the background or anything, or just
yeah, just some light music.
Yeah, some like Hoppy Poller or something like that.
Yeah, you end up drifting around this, magical skyscape where you're seeing all these beautiful clouds. And
just get Enya on Spotify.
Oh yeah, you'd come out feeling like a better person.
Yeah. Sail away, sail away.
Did you put that on Spotify then, Matt? Or did you sing it? I couldn't quite tell. Hey, Matt, what museum are you going for then?
So I initially thought of all the mad Everton artifacts that I've got a different idea as well, but so Ibrahima Bakayoko's tracky top, which he wore down. Yeah. The fella's handcuffs who handcuffed himself to the post that time against Aston Villa. That fella's season ticket that he threw at Alex Nyarko. Get that in there. The fella's jacket who held the kid while he was punching a Leon player. Josh King's match ball from last week. Could lash that in there as well. But I think I would go to a Crazy House museum, I think.
Okay.
Artifacts from there, from down the years, like lost shoes, photos, maybe like bits of smashed like guitar from bands have played there and stuff like that. I think that'd be an intriguing little walk around. Yeah,
that's a good shout.
Or maybe they should just turn it into a museum now because it's apparently it's not as good anymore.
Yeah, that's not going to be, is it?
No. Did you ever go there, Les?
Very, very occasionally.
I feel like Ed is more of a Crazy House person than Les.
Yeah.
I've never been. I've only lived there a couple of years, so I've not really been anywhere. But I imagine I could find myself there.
I mean, this leads nicely onto a comment from David Masson, who said this city needs to not be a museum. We fit into a nice little box for the rest of the country, and we accept it and live up to it by liking the same old generic Scouse music and TV films all the time. Time to evolve, which is a very good point, and also particularly on the back of things like the Casimir closing and Park Street Studios closing. It's a little bit obscene that those sorts of places are closing down, which is like, springboards for new music. And we're getting a Beatles museum that we need. But
it's not really for the people of Liverpool, is it either? It's for the people who come to Liverpool. Obviously, if people come to Liverpool and go to it, there will be, monetary benefits, but that is not that is not for people who live in the city, is it? Like people who live in the city and see the Beatles memorabilia and have probably been to the museum that's already there on the docks already in their life and seen the statue and walked down Matthew Street, and been up to Melville Avenue. People like that aren't going to be like, oh, I know another one. It's for people who come and visit Liverpool.
It is, but at the same time, you can sort of see the thing that's the conflicting arguments there. The fact that the culture in the city is dying a little bit. I think in about 10, 15 years time, people will be going like, did they really knock down cream and build flats on it? Again, that was another massive cultural thing for the city that just got wiped out for flats. It's ridiculous. It's cutting the culture of the city off at the knees, really. But that's probably discussion for another day.
I mean, that whole thing seems like it's like they'd forgotten about Liverpool, and they're like, right, we've got 2 million here. What can we do quickly? We've got 2 minutes. We've got to announce this thing. Oh, Beatles. Let's do that. Let's do that. They'll be fine with that. Let's crack on.
It was weirdly specific, wasn't it? Like, you don't normally get anything like that in a budget announcement where they say we're going to give this place this much money, which isn't actually that much for this purpose. Really, really odd.
Yeah, it's shows how out of touch they are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, what would you make into a museum, Les, or have a museum of?
Do you know what? I haven't even.
Bucket hat. Bucket hat museum.
Bucket hat. Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I definitely have a Scouse fashion museum.
That'd be class, actually.
No, a Liverpool City region fashion museum.
Wow.
You get all the Scousers getting snooty about Birkenheaders. We're all the same.
I'd love a Wirral museum in Liverpool, and it'd be like our brothers and sisters from across the water.
Hands across the Mersey.
Yeah. Like a zoo.
or forget the Beatles, half man, half biscuit museum in Birkenhead. That would do for me.
Be class.
I have actually got some Joy Division oven gloves as well.
Have you?
Pride of place in the kitchen. Yeah.
Nice.
Ask us anything. Michael Blakey has asked on a theme, which Beatle would you be? George is the correct answer. So just a one-word answer. You don't need any qualification. You can if you want. But...
I disagree, and I'll happily explain why.
Oh, go on then, Ed. Go for it.
Look, the Beatle I choose to be. I mean, the Beatle we admire most is George, but the Beatle I choose to be is Ringo. He gets drafted in. The man's a chancer. He's been carried on the coattails of three absolute geniuses, playing some all right drums. He's become a knight of the realm, a millionaire, and involved in Thomas the Tank Engine, another legendary institution. The man's living off his reputation forever, and I'm quite happy to be that sort of guy who's sort of in the background. So I think Ringo's done very well for himself.
Yeah.
No one really likes him though, do they?
No, I just put me in mind of a solo effort of his. It just got up and it's from 1974. And the first two lines are, you come on like a dream, pieces of cream, lips like strawberry wine. Then it gets a little bit disturbing. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine.
Oh, there are a few things in Beatles songs like that out there as well. Like, I saw her standing there.
Yeah.
Start of that, like,
I mean, she was 17. It's slightly better.
Yeah, still a bit like, but
yeah, it's a bit close. But I mean, in 1974. Anyway, we won't go into that anymore. Matt,
George is the right answer, isn't it? I think. But when
I've always liked Paul McCartney though as well.
I don't really dislike any of them apart from Ringo, really. But when I was younger, people used to always say I look like a young Ringo Starr. Which is weird.
Better than being compared to Robbie Fowler like I've been in the past. So.
Oh, really? That's a mad one.
Villa fan in the blue.
I don't see that at all.
Oh, it's because he was completely wrong.
Did you have one of those nose straps on or something?
I did. And the air was dead greasy.
I remember playing footy as a kid, and like loads of the kids used to play against used to wear them. It was like a proper little fashion thing, wasn't it?
You know what? Yeah. They do actually work.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got pretty dodgy sinuses, so if you pull like that, it does work.
I was listening to something the other day. This is like on a bit of a tangent, and do you remember Vieira used to have like all the vaporub stuff on his top?
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that was a thing for a bit, wasn't it?
And people used to say like apparently it used to help him breathe, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I can't remember if like he did like an interview or like someone did a report on it. But apparently it wasn't that. But it used to help him control the ball on his chest.
Oh wow!
And he just sort of like got away with it for his
Sticky as shit.
Yeah, like because he used to have like it wasn't like a little bit, was it? Like it was like a physical.
Yeah, well,
bump
it was like he'd fallen over into a pool of it.
Yeah, or someone like grabbed loads of it and just like chucked it straight at his chest.
Yeah, because everyone else, all the other players who did it, just had like a little blob there, didn't he?
Yeah, and this was like ridiculous, wasn't it?
That's genius, that.
I mean, I'm sure he would have been fine anyway as a player, but
yeah,
that helped probably.
Fine margins, innit?
I
know. One of this from Twitter now. No working out, just an answer, or you can go into it if you want. You can either have hands like Rupert Murdoch or Prince Charles. For reference, right? Murdoch's fingers look like sausages at a buffet. So they're shriveled and wrinkled, and Prince Charles look like uncooked Richmond sausages. So what are you going for? These are the fingers you've got to have for the rest of your life.
I think I'd go for the wrinkled ones.
Yeah.
I feel like this, like they're both going to look shit, aren't they? And weird. But I think the ones that aren't like swollen and horrible would be more usable still.
Yeah.
Like Prince Charles looks like he's not really picked anything up like for years, does it? It's just like his hands have been like flat in front of him the entire time. They're just like gradually taken on mass and swelled up.
You can't even click with those fingers though, can you?
Oh, I bet he can't even put his finger and his thumb together to even try and instigate the click, yeah.
Not a chance. Ed, what are you going with?
It's a horrifying choice, isn't it? Oh. If you look at
could you have one hand of each?
Can you imagine the noise if you rubbed them together? Oh God. If you look at Charles's hands and then you look at Murdoch's hands, it's kind of like the stages of somebody's corpse decomposing underwater. And that's all I can think of now. Like, after that, it's just bones, isn't it? I don't know. I've got incredibly spindly fingers, so I think I'm already ready for the Murdoch. I don't know how I would function with big, porky Prince Charles fingers, and it would take 4 or 5 generations of inbreeding before I could find out.
What would be better for playing darts, do you reckon, Ed?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'd say it would be incredibly hard holding a dart with like a really chubby finger.
Yeah. You'd have stability though, wouldn't you? But it's just about letting it go, I suppose.
The problem is having the grip and being able to release. And I think with the fat fingers, it takes so long because your hand's making a sort of popping motion when it comes out. Imagine open like a bunch of fucking Richmond sausage drawbridges. I think
Richmond sausage drawbridges has got to be the title for this podcast.
I think, yeah.
The weirder the better. We're not going to be able to call it shite, or we should be not as
But Murdoch's, I think Murdoch's would be very useful now, Halloween. Is imagine the kids coming around trick or treating, you just open the door and put one of those hands out the front of the door.
Stop selling them in the shop.
Miles.
You can buy next to the witch's hat and the devil horns, just rubber Rupert Murdoch hands.
Rupert Murdoch statue.
Oh God!
Just that. Put that in your window. Scare everyone off.
What would you go for, Les?
Yeah, it's got to be Murdoch. Buffet sausage fingers, I think. Far more practical. I do like that though. The stages of decomposition and water. Right. Keith has asked, you get to make one crime legal. What are you choosing and why? Oh, and can you please answer as miserably as possible because Everton got beat and the fun isn't allowed? Thanks in advance.
Oh, I've done too much laughing.
Ed, what crime are you making legal?
Oh, you know what's the crime? Watching Everton. Oh, pathetic. Oh, I tell you, it should be a crime. Just to get out for that. Oh, yeah, I don't know. If I could make a crime legal, like embezzlement or insider trading or something like that. You know, these corporations.
I mean, that basically is. Depends on
Oh well, yeah. I mean, for us normies, I don't want to get into too much trouble here, but I do work for a very large corporation, and sometimes I think, these executives don't need the money as much as I do.
There are loopholes here I could exploit.
But I think a bit of Robin Hood needs to come back.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's a good shout. I think I'd go just free travel. Free for all on trains.
Oh yeah, bunker on the trains.
Yeah. Not the most exciting, but money saver. You wouldn't have to pay that ridiculous fare to London guys every week.
Well, exactly. That'd be brilliant. Also, I wouldn't have to sweat it on the rare occasion that I do go to Kirkdale and I bought a ticket to go to town.
Yeah.
There's the possible downside that you're going to end up like hanging off the train because there's no room on
it. Yeah.
Like you see some of these trains in some parts of the world where there's people just sort of clinging onto every available precipice and handhold, but that might be the commute.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what. I feel like Keith would probably want us to be a bit more.
Oh, he wants us to go dark,
extravagant with this.
I've looked at done a search of what are serious crimes UK, and you don't want any at all. Honestly,
let's remember to clear history, right?
Yeah. Knock on the door.
The only one I can think that would be mildly acceptable is the importation of drugs. That's it.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I think
things like murder and armed robbery, bit wrong.
Yeah, can't really. Yeah, murder's not on, really, is it?
Yeah, they are in the bit wrong section of the legislation, aren't they?
I think that's actually what it's titled under. Yeah,
it's the step beyond. Hey, I'm not sure about this, but iffy.
Oh God, is it like illegal to? Well, it is illegal, isn't it, to like cross the road when it's not the green man in some countries?
Oh yeah, like
jaywalking in America, isn't it?
That's all a bit mad, yeah.
Yeah, have
very seriously. Have all the guns you want, but don't cross the road. Yeah.
Well, have you seen now after the Baldwin thing where he assumed that they're trying to bring in legislation to ban replica guns?
Yeah, well,
if you're going to kill people, do it the real thing.
Yeah, just ban the real things. Yeah, very, very strange. What a mad country.
Oh my God. We love all of our American listeners, though.
Oh God, we do.
Oh,
yeah.
They're fine. It's the country that's a shithole. I mean, it's a fantastic place.
Do you know what? To be fair, it is a great country, and do you know they are like often skittered for never leaving their own country because they're quite insular like that. But I mean, if you're not going to leave a country, that's got pretty much everything you're going to need, doesn't it?
It's a massive country, just not in terms of size, but also in terms of cultural disparity. And you can go from state to state, and it's like you're in an entirely different country anyway.
Yeah.
I think the only experience we get of that is things like interrailing or just going around Europe and seeing all the different cultures there. But if you're living in, for example, Oklahoma, you could go and visit Washington State or Alaska or Hawaii or Nevada or anything like that, and you meet entirely different people.
Yeah, amazing. It would be really good.
But yeah, not enough free healthcare, so I don't want to live there. Sorry.
That's the worst. We'll get that soon enough. Foxy, on a geographical note, has asked. He's been north of the wall this week, which included a trip to the Harry Potter viaduct steam train bridge, which I've been on and is very good. Oh. It's a lovely train ride. That. What's your favourite film location site that you've actually visited? Dave Downey came up with a great for this and said Creed 1.
Is that the Goodison one?
Yeah. I mean, in weird things that have happened at Goodison, that is really up there, isn't it?
That is a good shout, actually.
That fella he had like the big massive camera rig, didn't he? And there was that fella shouting, running towards the crowd, going, "Hey, come on, cheer!"
Like it was the best atmosphere at Goodison, wasn't it, for ages?
And it was 0-0 West Brom, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a horror show of a game, wasn't it?
Was that the penalty game?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it? Yeah. God.
Jesus.
I
remember around the same time we played Leicester, didn't we? I don't know if we went 2-0 up and ended up drawing 2-2 or something. But that was the catalyst for their unbeaten run, I think, that they went on to win the league. So Nigel Pearson was manager still.
Yeah.
A mad run to stay up. Then he got sacked. Then Ranieri came in and he won the title next season.
I think he scored, didn't he? That Cambiasso.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And just slotting one at the park end, yeah.
Any film sets, Matt?
I don't even think I've been to many. I've been to the cliffs of Maher in Ireland, which I think was also in Harry Potter. Do you know the ones which like jag out and like it's like a zigzag basically of cliffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so that was pretty stunning to be fair, but I don't think I've been to any other film sets. The Mersey Tunnels and Harry Potter as well. I don't know why I'm stuck on Harry Potter here.
It's in the Fast and the Furious as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously the live buildings in the new Batman as well. So, but yeah, I don't think I've been to any others really.
Yeah. Ed?
I'd have to pick the castle Neuschwanstein, which is in Schwangau in Bavaria. It's the inspiration for the Disney castle.
Okay.
So the one you see, the Sleeping Beauty castle, they call it Disneyland, and all of that. It's based on Neuschwanstein, which is a beautiful, beautiful castle in Bavaria, and it's right at the top of a. I don't think it's technically a mountain, but it's at least a massive hill, and sort of classic Bavarian attitude towards hiking is you've got this one route which is like extremely steep, and then they go, if you need a more accessible route, there's one over there that's got a few stairs. So it's lovely when you get up there. It's a Gothic castle, which unfortunately is inspired by the fascist composer Wagner, but it's very nice, and I'd recommend it to anyone.
Yeah,
little tourism tip there.
Nice.
I'd love to get a camper van and just knock about Bavaria in the Black Forest and all that. I think it'd be great.
It's perfect. I love the Black Forest so much. And I think a dream away for Everton, if you're imagining European trips, and this would have to be all the stars aligned, would be Freiburg, because Freiburg is a beautiful city. It's cracking for a night, and it's right on the cusp of the Black Forest. So you'd have a fantastic long weekend there, and sort of maybe forget that Everton were playing, and sort of go, oh yeah,
Pre-season friendly. If you're listening, Everton.
oh,
Yeah. I mean, this
Freiburg for the lads. Oh.
This is the thing, isn't it? I've always wanted Real Mallorca as well. That'd be a laugh. Different sort of like level, but yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? Right, we also like lament the fact that we've not won anything for absolute beards, but do you know what? If we were qualifying for Europe every season and we got some nicer ways, I reckon we'd be quite happy.
Oh, we'd be perfectly content
that we might win something, but just to have that as a baseline, just qualify for Europe, have some nicer ways. We'll get knocked out at some point, but the fact that we've not got that, I think that's the most frustrating and horrible thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think if you ask West Ham fans as well, I think their league form is obviously something they're very happy with, and the fact they're doing well in the cup and that. But it's also the fact that they're in Europe and they're doing well, and they've got some nice ties, haven't they? There's a Henk, and they've got Vienna, and some of the jokers who I can't remember.
Great.
As Zagreb they've got as well. So
yeah,
that's some nicer ways, isn't it? Genk and Vienna and Zagreb.
Oh god, yeah, they're absolutely perfect, aren't they?
If you had to handpick it.
If someone offered you now 5 seasons of European football in the next 20 years, would you take it?
And that's as good as it gets. We might win something, but we might not.
Yeah, forget about league and stuff like that, but you guaranteed 5 seasons of European football in the next 20 years.
I mean, I'd be greedy and ask for more, but
you can't get more. This take it or leave it, Ed.
I think I will take it,
I'd have to take it.
I mean, that means there's 15 years of doing absolutely nothing.
But you'd have the season before you get in Europe, which means you're going to have a decent season to get into Europe.
Okay, to qualify. Yeah, do you know what? I think I will take that, definitely.
And then obviously when we're in Europe, we've got a terrible squad. We can't balance it. So the seasons in Europe will be shite.
So basically what you're saying is we've got Roberto Martinez season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
In the 20, I'd have that all.
And let's be fair, that European run
was great
until its horrendous conclusion was absolutely marvellous. I mean, the whole Wolfsburg thing.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Bear
in mind, they were a hot team then.
Yeah, De Bruyne, Perisic.
Yeah.
The whole lot, Ricardo Rodriguez, Ivica Olic, all of that. It was a good team, and we did them home and away, which frankly is a disgrace.
Cole's never been in a football match, that Wolfsburg game. Absolutely freezing. But I just thinking about that situation, and knowing us, we'd get Europe 5 years in a row, they'd get relegated. The next 15 to be in the Championship. League One.
Bring back the Anglo-Italian Cup.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, right. Oh, one from Mike Blakey again. Bit of a curveball. So he said last week, top 5 Everton moments that broke you. So we'll just pick one for now, just off the top of your head, and Everton that completely broke you. And this is for the first ever mailbag, the last post. Could become a regular feature, this. Ed, any Everton moment that broke you?
You're really trying to leave this on a high, aren't you? God. I'd say, I mean, one of the things we discussed just after post-match last week was the Fiorentina game. And it didn't break me. And the one reason is that we were absolutely brilliant that night. And there's not much more we could have done. Penalties, it comes down to that sort of thing sometimes, but we were genuinely magnificent. And everyone who was there remembers the atmosphere. I think the ones that really kill are the ones where you just feel like there's nothing that you can get from it, nothing redeemable. So I'd actually go all the way back to the end of the 2003-4 season, where we were absolutely sliced and diced by Man City.
Yeah.
To finish the season in 17th, well clear of the bottom three because they'd all been terrible. But the very worst of the teams remain in the Premier League. Nothing went right at that. I think down like that. And I was in absolute bits. I was a young lad. It was my second full season really following Everton. And I was thinking, this is horrible. I was in tears. I thought, what is going to happen? And then the next season we went and did what we did.
It's amazing that happened, isn't it? Like, when you think of how low we were. But that was the game where the Echo's headline the next day was taking the piss, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, on the back page, yeah.
Well, the thing about that as well is it was like, people who are maybe new to football would think we're getting beat by 5-0 by Man City. Loads of teams do that. Man City finished 16th that season. We finished 7th. It was a wooden spoon game, and they led us. And I think Alan Stubbs had an absolute shocker. End of the game, basically told Rooney to get off. Rooney got off. And the big thing that really, still to this day, was
last game for us.
What's that? It was, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing that really winds me up about this is the fact that we finished 4th the season after. What could we have done? No, Marcus Bent came in and stuff like that and made a big difference to the team. What could we have done if Rooney had been in that side? Absolutely, probably below bog average side, finished 4th. Rooney was an X factor. He could have got us higher. I'm convinced he could have got us higher this season.
I don't know, because, I mean, were we really getting into that top three? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know, but, the thing I always think back to is Liverpool winning the Champions League. Now, that team shouldn't have been on the same pitch as AC Milan because it was absolutely stratospheres below them. But Steven Gerrard was the X factor in that one, and they won it. And I know it's only an off game, but that you can probably say that for the whole cup run, to be fair, because they beat Juventus. They shouldn't have even got through against, was it Panathinaikos?
Yeah, Olympiakos was it, I think.
Olympiakos, sorry,
yeah.
And things like that. And he provided that X factor for them and did for multiple Liverpool teams over the next few years. Wayne Rooney could have been that for us. Big Everton rant.
Liverpool must have had a good manager as well then.
Oh,
they did, didn't they, actually? Yeah, thinking back, yeah.
to get that team to Champions League, even though it was shite.
Well, do you know what? The Reds now sort of say that whole Istanbul thing was all down to Gerrard, not Benitez.
Oh, yeah. Good old revisionism.
Yeah, this is their line on it now.
See, now I'm looking at that, and you know that scene in The Simpsons where he's trying to build a barbecue, and he's looking at a diagram going...
That's my favourite Simpsons scene ever.
Why can't mine look like this? That's exactly where we are right now. Looking at the crumbling remains of our defeat to Watford going, hold on, what's Le Grill?
What the hell is Le Grill?
I love that he was talking today about zonal marking and how, like, at Liverpool it was like shite at first. There's that word again, and he eventually got it to work. And I was like, you had Hoopier, Henshaw, Carragher, Agger, then you got them home, Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey. Jesus Christ, just make it as simple as possible for those lads.
The thing is, mate, you've not got a season to sort this out. You've got about 2 weeks.
Oh dear.
What broke you then, Matt? Oh, sorry, I got.
Go on,
I just think we do have to go way more simple for this defence, don't we?
Yeah.
I think it's almost to the extent where Benitez needs to fashion like a length of rope and just put it round the ball and just hold them. Just go up and down the line, hold them. Or maybe insert like a table football rod and just go, you know what, lads, just go side to side.
Yeah.
This will be fine.
In the past, I'd feel quite harsh about laying the boot into something like this, but I mean, fucking, I like that fourth goal was just etched into my head. I like it was God, just hilarious. But
it wasn't hilarious, Matt, because you know us laughing at this is the reason that we're not any good.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I know.
We need to all have a good look at ourselves and think about how this chat is affecting the football club.
It's true.
the two for me, I can name two players, and you know exactly straight away what games you're talking about. Ashley Young, Anthony Martial.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean that Martial one was just like an absolute killer.
Horrible.
I was it was the day before I needed to complete my dissertation at university, which I hadn't done yet. So I was watching this game going, right, I watched this semi-final, I'm going to do the dissertation. And how, I could write with the frame of mind following that defeat. Luckily, I was writing 7,500 words about genocide. So I was in a fairly dark mood anyway. Greased the wheels somewhat. But Ashley Young, that was so bad because it was so good.
They had a go second half, didn't they?
Yeah.
When Glasgow had scored that acrobatic equaliser.
Ashley Young, you mean? I thought you were talking about Martial.
Martial, no, that was... We don't talk about that penalty, but the Ashley Young one, we came off such a high where we thought, oh my God, we've done it. We've levelled. Let's get at him, add it on time, and just... I still don't understand what happened.
It was Lescott's fault, wasn't it? Like he tried to kick the ball and just missed it.
The defence just dematerialised.
It was like last week.
Yeah.
It was like Star Trek. They'd all gone back to the home planet or something. They just vanished, and Ashley Young was just in.
They had a good side in their Villa, didn't they? And they used to they were about us and them. Used to always battle for 5th and 6th, didn't we?
Yeah, that was the thing.
It was like, even though the teams are quite even, and we probably finished above them more than they finished above us. But when we played them, they always just seemed to just get one over on us. They'd come back from 2 goals down, or they scored late goals against us, and I hate playing these. They're just one of those. John Carew used to just manhandle our centre half, didn't he? And Gabriel Bonlahor used to always score against us, even though he was absolutely shite. But there's that word again. should I get
start playing a little noise.
Klaxon, yeah.
I'd say we probably say shite 79% more than any other podcast.
But that Martial one, I was right behind his winning goal. Obviously it's the other end, wasn't it? But I just remember seeing him go through. It was the goal opened up. It's I can't believe this has happened to us again. Because that team was in disarray, wasn't it? Total.
It was all over the shop, wasn't it? Yeah.
But somehow in the second half, they just found another gear and had a real good go at it. And Lukaku missing those chances, Fellaini scoring.
Rooney clearing one off the line.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking. That real hard day. That one. Only the closer ever comes to crying at the match, I'd say, coming out that ground. It was absolutely horrendous.
It was also at the time as well. It was there was some sort of binary choice between winning that game and possibly winning the FA Cup and sacking Roberto Martinez. I was like, well, let's just do both.
Yeah, because the other semi
and still sack him.
United did, didn't they? Sacked Van Gaal straight after.
Yeah. Well, the other semi was Palace Watford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was like
Pardew's dance.
Oh God. They should. I think we've said it loads, haven't we, last down the years about that game. He should not have been in charge for that, should he?
No. Well, to come full circle, should have been Joe Royle. That was the story, wasn't it? Get Joe Royle in as interim manager, and he wins us the FA Cup again.
Do you remember he played right back for us that day?
Besic.
Yeah, no Besic.
Standing. What a player. Right, we're going to finish on a high. Anyway, so there's one.
Yes.
What film would you like the Muppets to remake, and who is your human character / act? To give you a bit of a head start on this, if you've not thought about it, this was one Matt Flusk, should have been with us today, was particularly keen on. His answer was The Departed, and Mark Wahlberg would stay. So my answer to this would be Lethal Weapon. So Danny Glover plays his normal part of Robert Murdoch, but Gonzo or Animal play Riggs.
That'd work. Really
I think an Animal already played Riggs.
I think so. Let's not go there.
So yeah, that would work. Wouldn't it?
What are you going with, Ed?
It's tough because you have to go dark, don't you? That's what's funny about the idea.
Maybe
of
7
ripping each other up. I originally said the first thing that popped
Miss
into my head
Piggy's
was
head in a
Django
box at
Unchained.
the end.
Yeah, 7, but keep Brad Pitt.
Just open the box, it's just a pack of bacon.
Sorry, Ed, go on.
I did say Django Unchained. That was the first film that came into my head because I just think
Amazing.
you could either have Jamie Foxx or Samuel L. Jackson in their roles, reprising them from the film, and it would be dead funny. I actually think it'd be hilarious to see Jamie Foxx just popping off a bunch of Muppets.
That would be amazing. Do you know what, though? I reckon your immediate thought to the answer to this question says a lot about the person you are, doesn't it?
I don't watch many movies, so it's probably accurate.
I had no idea why I thought Lethal Weapon, but that was the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Django Unchained, a shout, though. Matt?
Is that a thing with the only Muppets film I've really seen is the Christmas Carol one? Is that a thing where there's just one human in each film?
No, you have like a couple, don't you?
Maybe, but yeah, it's like a mostly Muppet cast.
It's interesting that, like, yeah, weird, but maybe Goodfellas with Joe Pesci is the only human. It's like going sick at these puppets. It'd be like weird because of the comedy, wouldn't it? Like funny how Kermit's like, "Whoa, chill out, lad."
And like looking them in the eyes as well.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing about Muppets films, they're normally up to their knees.
Yeah. Rosie's about the right height, isn't he? Yeah. I think I'll go. Yeah, I think I'd do that. And Kermit plays Ray Liotta's character.
So can you imagine the dialogue between Kermit and Joe Pesci? The voices on the two of them would be outstanding, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think that worked quite well.
This needs to happen. All three films and all four need to happen.
Oh god.
Yeah, Jim Henson's watching this, taking notes. I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon so.
How are we doing, boss? Right, lads, that's it. It's been, as ever, it's been an absolute pleasure.
God, just seeing how long we've been going for.
Yeah, I think we just clocked an hour there.
Nice.
Decent. So, go and enjoy the rest of your weekends, your toffee-free weekends. They'll just ruin Monday. But Monday will be shite anyway, so who cares? Thanks to Matt. Thanks to Ed. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We'll catch you next time on Mailbag.